Right.
I don't really have anything to do today. I do have something planned for tomorrow that will be on video and whatnot, but today I don't have anything to do. School's let out. No sports, no school, no nothing. So I was like, all right, well, this could be a cool little video, you know, I'll just record another day in the life type thing. But today we're going to be doing some cool things, hopefully. I don't really know what we're going to do yet. I haven't thought through this very well, but I've had some ideas recently that I'm going to be telling y'all about. That'll be cool. That'll loop in with later stuff. Right now, though, I thought, all right, well, it's 3:42 right now, nearly 4 o'clock, and all I've done so far is some little stuff for the bike video, and that's really it, and I cleaned a lot. So I'm gonna watch a movie right now. I'm about to watch this movie called With Honors. Never seen it before. It's with some cool guys though, and it's been on my Tubi watch list for a while. So I'm gonna pop that on, watch it, and I'll, you know, tell you if hopefully that'll spark some cool ideas in the brain. And then after that, I'm pretty hungry, so we'll probably cook something, or I'll go to the grocery, eat, and I'll talk while I'm doing that. Because I actually have some stuff that I really want to talk about in this video, so stay tuned, because I definitely have some very interesting topics I want to talk about, more into the philosophical region. That'll probably be what a lot of this video will be, with just me discussing some cool ideas I've had recently. And I'll figure out whatever else is after that. So let's hop into this movie though. So I'm gonna take a quick pause from the movie real quick, which this is actually a really great movie. I have quite some ideas here that I've been writing out. But I want to take a pause because it just caught my eye through this window. I could see the sunlight, and it was like really clear and beautiful and whatnot. And then I went outside and I seen it's really beautiful outside, so it's freezing. So I just put some clothes on and whatnot, or more clothes on. And we're gonna go outside and enjoy that, and I'm gonna talk about some stuff, so let's get to that. Alright, as you can see, right behind the tree you got the sun with some beautiful clouds around it and whatnot. And a lot of times I like to come out here. Does that block the camera view? Does it? Let me see. No. Okay, good. So a lot of times I like to come out and sit out here while it's coming down. Just because I find it really pretty, you know? So I figured, why not share this moment with y'all, right? Now, sometimes when I'm out here, I listen to music, so I brought my headphones just in case I do want to do that. Probably will, because there's a lot of cars out, and I don't really like listening to cars, at least not like this, you know. So probably gonna kick on some music, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna listen to, but I'm gonna listen to something cool. Last time I was out here, I listened to some of my jazz playlist on like shuffle, right? But I don't know. Usually I try to find music that fits the vibe. Right now it's a pretty cool vibe, so that might be, there's actually an album, I want to say it's called like Cassiopeia or something, by a little rock band. So I might listen to some soft rock or something. I don't know really what I'm going to listen to, but I'll figure it out. But I wanted y'all to be here and enjoy this beautiful little sunset with me before it gets dark. and then we'll go back in and we'll finish the movie, and we'll move on to the next couple segments. All right, taking a little break from the movie, and also from the beautiful view outside. So something's still on my stove. That's not nice. Anyway, taking a little break from the movie and from outside because now it's dark, but I hope you all enjoyed that little time lapse. I actually had some really nice thoughts while I was out there, which I'm going to now talk about while we cook some fresh all natural pork, boneless center cut pork chops thin. I got 2 packs of these. I might cook all of them. I might cook 1 packet and leave the other one. For some reason one was more expensive than the other. And also this one was $4.99. This one was $3.99. This one seems to be a bit thicker cut than this one, but so I like these. They're looking a little bit better. So I'm gonna try these out first. We're gonna be searing them up, and then yeah. So I'm not a very good cook. I'm not all that good at cooking, nor was I ever really all that good at cooking. I have only really started to cook very recently. And that's because basically my mom was like, hey, I'm not really cooking for you all that much anymore, so you better learn and whatnot. You know, which makes sense. I mean, I'm going to college soon and whatnot, so I get it, right? But that does leave me to fend for myself, you know, in terms of cooking and whatnot. So now I'm going to, let's open these pork chops up, season them up, put them on the pan, and then we will be frying them up and whatnot while I talk about some cool stuff, right? So I'm gonna grab my little notepad. So as I was watching the movie, while I was outside, you know, something I thought about was how as you get older and older, you feel things less intensely because obviously you're older, you know, it's usually not your first time going through a new experience, right? When you're older, right, and when I say older, I really mean like teens, like later teens age, you know, not necessarily older, but more so just coming of age, right? So when I say you're going through these new experiences, when you go through your teenage years, it's a whole lot of first, you know. It's usually when you have your first real romantic relationships. It's usually when you're, you know, gonna have a lot of first experiences with friends. It's gonna be a lot of new relationships, a lot deeper relationships, you know. So it's a lot of first in that aspect, right? And I find the later you get in that, right, when you're 17, 18, 19, I'm only 17 right now, but the later you get into these experiences, the more kind of not numb, but like less introduced, you feel me? So what I mean by that is hello.
Am I in the film?
No, you're good. You're on.
Okay.
I got some pork chops in the store. Yeah.
Chef.
I know, right?
What the hell? Was that pork?
Yeah, pork chops.
That's good butter. Use that.
Mm-hmm. Plan to.
Yeah. I can't have any of this with the name. I bought this like right before I started my
Diet.
yeah, this fasting and just load in 2000. I'm doing it, but boy, it's not fun at all.
I bet.
But you saw my laundry was just a salad. 20 hours later, just a salad. I gotta wait 20 hours now.
Jesus.
But I can eat those things actually because there's no calorie, and then carb.
Sorry about that. As I was saying, yeah, you get more numb to experiences purely because it's not your first time going through them, you know? At that point, you know, once you're 16, 15, 17, right? You've been through a lot of experiences, you know? You've had a fallout with your friends, you've had a fallout with your mom or your dad, and you've argued with adults, right? You've had your challenging of authority. You've, you know, probably had a couple girlfriends by now. You've probably had a job by now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things aren't all that new. So I was thinking about this while I was sitting out there. Excuse me. By the way, to season this, I'm using salt, pepper, and onion powder. I got olive oil in the pan. And I've got some butter here we're going to be using. And I've got some rosemary leaves that we're also going to be using. So like I was saying though, you really don't get that many firsts when you're that age, at least that I've experienced. I feel like I haven't experienced something that's like totally new in a while. You feel me? I've experienced new variants for sure. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying I know everything at all, but I am saying I have, or I feel like maybe I've gotten to a point where, you know, I feel like I've lived a bit of life, right? But I say this to say, you don't realize that at all either. I was thinking about my girlfriend earlier, and I was thinking, damn, you know, I really kind of miss her right now. But I remember back when I was, 14, going through my first real, like, experience with love, if I was missing, my person, I would be distraught. I would, you know what I'm saying, have all these thoughts going through my head. I probably wouldn't be able to stop thinking of them. Versus now, I'm kind of like, now I have the knowledge that I'm going to be okay. Say my girlfriend, God forbid, was to break up with me tomorrow. I have the knowledge that I'd be okay, you know? I can see the light in the tunnel already after, you know? I can already see, like, even if she does, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'll be sad, I'd be heartbroken. But, I mean, I'd be able to continue with my life, Which in turn, though, makes me almost feel the love I have with my girlfriend, while it is very passionate, I'm very passionate about her, right? And I think I try to show her that very intensely, right? It's probably not as intense or as passionate as your first couple of experiences where you don't know how to, you're borderline, you're fresh in the pool. You're just being thrown out to swim. So in this whole new relationship pool, so cling, you know what I'm saying? You cling on to that person. And maybe this is just me, maybe this is my experiences, but I felt like in my first couple of experiences, I was much more clingy. I was much more, I need this person, to live my life, instead of this person adds lots to my life. You feel me? And I feel like when you go through that experience, then you borderline, you're not as intense about it, which is nice in one way. Say for when I got broken up with for the first time, I was bawling out, crying, depressed for months on end and whatnot, for my first like serious relationship. Now that I've had a couple of more serious relationships, I'm like, sad, yeah, but I'll get over it. I'm gonna be cool. You know what I mean? That first one was really like, that hit me, and I missed for a moment. I missed having those more intense emotions. I missed being able to give something with all to subconsciously just give something all my being. To not be my own person and be confident in who I am and be happy with just being me, but also, I mean, instead of you know, oh, I'm not complete without this person. Just that amount of emotion, that amount of intensity, it's something to miss almost, you know? And you don't realize that until, you know, until now you're at a point, and don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for it. Because now I think I'm a better person in myself, and also I'm a better partner, right? But it is something I thought about that I was like, damn, you know? Pan is feeling pretty hot. Got some olive oil on it. Yeah, it's pretty hot. So we're gonna slap on a couple of these pork chops now. Oh yeah, nice little sizzle. Yeah. Set timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That's great. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut a little slice of this butter. And we're gonna toss that in the pan with it. I'm only doing 2 because I just want as like a test run almost, you know? It's a lot of butter. You know, not much, cut that in half. Might be too much oil actually. Here's what it is. Like I was saying though, yeah, you really don't realize that until that's something you really take for advantage of. You know, when I was younger, I really wished and I looked forward to the days where I would be, you know, not so obsessed with my partners and whatnot. And now I look back on that time, and I wish, you know, now I'm like, man, I wish I was capable of being almost more obsessed with my partner. Not to say I'm not obsessed with her, but you get what I'm saying. There's a basting there now. This is real chef stuff right here, by the way. Might as well get a cooking channel. So, yeah, so I just thought that was a really cool, interesting idea, you know, the fact that sometimes you don't, I mean, that goes into quite a lot of themes, right? That goes into not realizing what you have until it's gone. That fits into, you know, how you change as a person, how you evolve as a person. I should really say not change, but how you evolve as a person. Speaks, you know. Another cool thing that I thought about was I was talking to my friend about this actually the other day. The other day I was at a basketball game for my school because I play basketball. Not good at it, by the way. I'm a bench warmer, but nonetheless, right? And me and my homeboy were sitting on the bench, and I thought about a goal of mine. I thought about how a goal of mine for a while has been to be more present in life, really. You know, I wanted to be more here, more in the now. Let's reset that. And more like present. And then when I actually told him that though, he was like, "That's cool, but what is that even? What do you mean by that? Like, what does being present even really mean?" And when he asked me that, I really didn't have an answer. And so we were talking about it for a while, and we realized it's a really good question. What does being present mean? You know, what is to be present? What that stands as an action, right? What does that mean? Excuse me. And my answer for that would be, I think being present. I didn't start the timer. Fun. Being present means when you're actively taking it all in, you know? When I was watching that movie, I was trying to be very present, by meaning I wasn't just watching the movie, but I was just, you know, I was actually I was taking account for it, you know? Every scene that popped up and every, you know, change in environment, every change in this and that, and what the line said, and, you know, what music they were playing. I had the thought almost of like, I had a thought that went along with it. And that's how I knew I was being attentive. That's how I knew it, because I was actually, you know what I'm saying? I was really taking it in. And I noticed when I am being, the reason why I want to be more conscious in what I do is because when you're conscious, in my opinion at least, you appreciate and you have a deeper understanding of things going on around you, you know? If you're just living if you're just doing everything on autopilot, you may have a basic understanding of what's going on around you, you know? Of course. But do you really know, like, I don't know, I just think I enjoy life more when I'm actively in it, you know what I'm saying? When I'm actively, like, in life. And of course this isn't always, right? Like, sometimes I do just want to chill out, pop my brain off, and just, you know, kind of chill out, you know? Sometimes I genuinely just want to have my mind be numb, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. However, when I think about, you know, I leave for college in a couple months, and I think about my time and how I want to spend it, and I realize I have to be very intentional about it. I have to be very in the moment and not just wasting time, you know? And if I am, and even if I wasn't going to college, to be honest, that would still be my perspective, because if I'm just going through life, through the motions and whatnot, what am I really doing, you know? Am I maximizing my life? Take all the empirical, I think I said this before in another video, but take all the empirical stuff out of your life, right? Take out God and your, you know, belief in what you should be doing, what life's about or whatever. And you think, what is my purpose? You don't really have one. So might as well just enjoy, you know, the 70 years you get, right? That's at least, excuse me, my perspective on it, you know? These are, time-wise, should be about done. I am going to take them off. Yeah, time-wise, these should be done. So I'm going to take these off right quick. Put them on a plate, cut them open, and see what they're looking like. If they're raw, then maybe I'll just last them longer. They look pretty good. They got a nice, decent crisp, you know. Smell good. Jeez. This is my first time cooking pork chops. My grandmother makes pork chops a lot, actually, and I enjoy those quite a lot. This seems like it's pretty cooked through. Maybe a bit longer. But again, let's see what we're looking at. My biggest fear is that I'm gonna get salmonella and die of that. The reason why that's my biggest fear is because it's a pretty lame way to die. See if I can get a better light on this, but I feel like that's pretty done. I feel like that's pretty white. I'm really just making sure it's not pink, you know? It's pretty delicious. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'd say maybe a bit more time on wouldn't hurt it. But let's check out this other one. Again, maybe a bit more time, but y'all tell me if I'm tripping, but Oh dear, that's dripping down. So I think maybe a bit longer, but these, I'm not seeing no pink. You know what they say, if you ain't seeing pink, it's pretty good. Alright, I'm pretty happy about that. Let's pop on these other ones. Shall we? This is still on, right? I'm also going to turn the heat up just a bit. Give that about a minute to heat up. I'll be right back. Hello? I can come in? I can come in?
Forecast could be white. Nah, I think you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be white inside, you're right. It can't be red.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, you good.
You want to try a piece?
No, I can't, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you good.
Start a timer for 3 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, and that's very important. Yeah. Meat, red meat, you can rare. That's fine. You know, chicken and pork all the way.
Yeah.
That looks good, man. A little herb in there, huh?
Yeah, I got some rosemary in there, and then I wanted, yeah.
Yeah. You can eat them all. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you if you try all that.
No, I am, I'm gonna have this with some rice, and that'll be my dinner the next.
Ooh.
I got another pack here, so
Yeah.
this will probably be my dinner the next like 2 days.
Oh, there's plenty of food left. Yes. If you need something, let me know. I'll cook it. Yeah, tons of chicken and well, you must be tired of chicken, but no. You got a little pork. Beef in there also. All right, I'm gonna be in a tub. I was waiting for the heat of the thickness of it, so it wouldn't be that cold.
Yeah.
Alright, see you in a minute.
Little featuring my mom's boyfriend, by the way. Oh, we're running on time. 17 minutes, okay. So I guess the next topic I can talk about. Yeah, this idea of being present, man. It's just it's a constant loop in my mind. How present do I want to be? You know, what is present? Blah, 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 blah. Just runs through my mind a lot, you know. And because I think it's fairly important, you know. I think if you're, especially, you know, at this point in my life, right? And I'm young, you know. I think thinking about how I want to spend the rest of my time, making sure that I'm valuing how I spend my time, really, is quite important. And I think it's something everyone should think about. To be honest, you know. I don't think you should. I think waking up and thinking how I want to spend the day. I'm gonna just say I don't think it's gonna hurt you. You know. I think being intentful is something that people should value early. Because the next thing you know, you're gonna wake up when you're, 30 or 40, and you're just gonna be like, man, I don't really like my life. You know. And I gotta tell you, for me personally, that's like one of my biggest fears, to be honest. I'm terrified of that thought. You know, the thought of waking up and being like, you know, I gotta sleep in a bed with a woman I don't like. I gotta go to work a job I don't like. Hell no, I'm not the type. I refuse to be a type of person that's just gonna make ends meet. Feel me? I'm gonna enjoy my life, man. Alright, that's timer for these. I'm gonna finish cooking these up, plate them, and then we'll finish that movie because I don't got shit else to talk about. The end. Who wants some freshly made pork chops? Feel me? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. I just finished the movie with honors. Great movie. I thought it was pretty good. Like overall, I'd rate it like a 8 out of 10. Nonetheless, this isn't a movie review channel, but I highly recommend it. It's a pretty good movie. I will say, you do get pieces that are like. This movie is really interesting. On one level, I feel like this is almost like an art box movie. I think that's the right term, where it's like this movie was made for a specific type of audience, and it was not made with the intention of being popular, but it was truly made as to be a medium of art. You know, this movie was supposed to represent something. It was supposed to be something. It wasn't supposed to be a, you know what I'm saying, a boombox seller or whatnot. But there are pieces where you get, I feel like, in my opinion at least, a little bit of both. You know, you get pieces that are more deeper understanding, right? And then you do also get pieces that are like, oh, this movie was still supposed to make sales. So I feel like it's a nice bridge between both, but it's a good movie. I'd rate it like a solid 8 out of 10. I'd say overall it's about, right, these two guys who obviously meets this one guy who's a esteemed academic, right? His whole life is about his grades and all that because he goes to Harvard, right? And then he meets this homeless guy who's really smart and whatnot, and he basically, like, you know, he's just trying to get his thesis back, basically, because the guy was a homeless guy. He stole it and whatnot. Whatever, though, right? Oh. But really, what I think this movie is about is not just a little lovey-dovey friendship story. I think it's more so about the main character, right, who's obsessed with his grades. His name's Monty. I think it's about him just kind of expanding himself. I think it's more about him than it is about anybody else or about the homeless guy or about his friends. I think it's him realizing that his grades are not the end all be all, and not that they don't matter, but that there are other things that do matter more. You know, that you should have these other experiences and whatnot, which I'm really able to appreciate as somebody who takes his academics pretty seriously. You know, I'm very, you know, I try to put my best foot forward a lot of times with my grades, and so as somebody, that message kind of the message of this movie, in my opinion, kind of resonated a lot with me. A lot of times, if you're a person who does take your grades more seriously, you will get lost in the sauce of, like, you get lost in, you know, being a person and enjoying your life still, you know, because your pinnacle, your peak is the A, right? You want to get the A, you want to succeed, you want to get the 100%, you want to get the highest marks as possible, at the expense of anything else. And when you do that, automatically, because that is your goal, because that is your want to achieve, right? You put it on a soapbox naturally. You put it on this stool that it should be your highest priority. It should be your this and that, which a lot of times will cause you to put it over other things. Which, don't get me wrong, grades are important and whatnot, right? But at the end of the day, they don't really define that much about you, really. You know, I'm a person who's always liked school, so I've always been naturally, like, I've liked studying, I've liked reading, I've liked doing the harder problems and whatnot. But it's not like school determines if you're a hard worker. It's not like school determines if you're smart or anything like that. School is a thing to do, you know, and sometimes you're just not good at things. Sometimes you're not akin to things, I should really say, right? So it's like, I have a friend who's not very good at school, you know. That doesn't, I wouldn't say that that's a real reflection of how good he is at, or how successful he's going to be in life, you know. So overall, I think the premise of this movie was about not getting stuck on, not being just hyper fixated on one thing, one goal, you know. Because if you lose yourself in that, you're gonna lose other parts of you. We see in the movie this guy Monty. He's so hyper fixated on graduating from Harvard with honors, right? He's so hyper fixated on that though, he loses a little bit of his humanity to the point where he's kind of just like a rude guy, And then on top of that, he has no time for romantic relationships, really. He kind of he loses other hobbies and whatnot. But when he meets this guy who takes him around, not even takes him around, but like as they go through this little short journey together, right? He realizes that that's not the end all be all, So then he just starts, making better connections with his friends. Then he starts, he gets himself a little girlfriend or whatever, right? Then he starts, having a more appreciation for life and whatnot. And I just thought it was really cool, really cool to see. I think if you're in the beginning of the movie, they talk, it's like almost a message to seniors, college seniors specifically, right? But as a high school senior, I was able to resonate with it. And I think if you're somebody who is a academic, you would enjoy this, But I mean, this speaks to a lot of things. Even if you're not an academic, if you're just somebody who's just, I'm not going to say obsessed, but you put something on a pedestal, anything on a pedestal, where that's your pinnacle, then I think this would be a movie that you could kind of resonate with, And I think it's really cool that. And also, let me just say this about the movie too. It's a really pretty movie. Like watching through the movie, like from all the scenes where they're in a library. It's set what I would assume would be Harvard's campus. I've never seen Harvard's campus, but I would assume that's what it actually looks like. You get these shots of a library. You get these shots of just walking around, and it's taking place in winter. Harvard's in Boston. Is that right? I don't know. But up north, right? And there's snow everywhere because it's Christmas time, and it's just beautiful. It looks pretty. It's a pretty movie to watch, which I can really appreciate. I've always really liked looking at pretty things. So even outside the storyline, just watching the movie was cool. A cool experience. It's 8:36 now. I'm pretty much 8:40. I started watching this movie like 5 hours ago. I feel pretty good about it. I ate the food, by the way. It was amazing. Those pork chops are good. I put it on a little rice bowl. It was tough. So it was pretty cool, honestly. I woke up this morning and I felt like, what am I going to do? I didn't really have too much to do. And I was worried that I wasn't going to enjoy myself all that much today, but I think I did enjoy myself quite a bit today. It was a nice little chill out day. I think I could have done more. I definitely wouldn't regret doing more. I think what I'm going to do now is, since I didn't get the chance to go to the gym, I guess I could ask if I can still go to the gym, but chances are that that's a no. But I'm going to go do a little workout, maybe some push-ups or something. And then I'm probably going to read, to be honest. I've been wanting to read Gatsby. I haven't had time to do that for a while, so I might go and do that. After I read that, then I don't know. I don't know what I'm really going to do after that, but figure out something, I'm sure. Anyway, that'll be the end of this, though. This is a little intermediate video. I wanted to record something that was cool, that, I talked about some recent things I've been thinking about. And I think this achieved that. I think this video serves its purpose. I hope you guys all enjoyed, next video, hopefully it will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow, my friend's coming over and we're going to be working on his car. So that'll be fun. And I'll make sure to record that whole thing so y'all can see it. believe that's really it. You know. So appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed it, man.